Jetti is here. She is the real deal. She's hilarious, bold, and fiercely advocates for women making wealth. Veena is the founder of Vive Funds, a real estate investment firm that's redefining what modern conscious leadership looks like. With a background managing billions in real estate assets, she's built an empire based not only on strategy, but on intention, resilience, and heart. She's a wildly successful entrepreneur, twin mom, and a total girl's girl. When I got a message from you, Veena, on Instagram, I was like, it is time to embody Veena Jetti energy. And I got the privilege of seeing you speak. And when I heard you speak, I was like, I am right out of the gates going to ask her to come on the podcast because you made this so comfortable and confident for me to be able to do so. And the way you move through the world and the light that you are to women is just so special. So I'm excited to dive into your world today, your mindset, your humor, and your fire, and all the ways that you're changing the game.
Well, thank you, Hope. We start every day off with this manifestation of beautiful energy? Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. I'm so fortunate to be in your energy today and to have this conversation with you because you're such an advocate for women and creating wealth and money. And that's what I'm all about. And I'm excited to, yeah, hear what it took for you to step into these roles of playing big and going after these huge investments and the money mindset and all of it.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, so yeah, basically, I wanted to start this off by talking about how did you get into this world of making these big investments and playing big? And what's the first thing that you would want someone to know, a woman specifically, to know about putting yourself out there and taking these big steps?
Okay. Oh gosh, I there's so many things I want women to know as they're doing it. I think the first one though is we belong at those tables and we belong in those rooms and we belong in the C-suite and we belong anywhere where there are decisions being made. Because women are uniquely qualified to look at investments and finance in a different way than we've ever looked at it before because it's always been primarily male dominated. So a lot of what I talk about on stage, right, is that the investment space for so long has been defined within the architecture of a patriarchy where it's like a hierarchical system, right? Like there's one man at the top and then everyone kind of falls somewhere below that person. And I've been talking a lot about how when we think about a matriarchy, a lot of men especially feel resistance to a matriarchy because they think it's the inverse of a patriarchy, where there's one woman at the top and then everyone kind of falls in the pyramid below that. But I don't think that that is an accurate way to describe a matriarchy because I think a matriarchy is not built in a hierarchical structure. I think matriarchy is built in a circle, right? Like women come together and we hold hands and we stand in a circle with each other. And then everybody who is weaker, more vulnerable, doesn't have resources like our children, the elderly, our families, right? All of those people come into the middle of the circle and we protect everybody at the circumference of the circle. And I think like because there are these systems of patriarchy that are so deeply rooted in companies, in structures, in org charts, it's everywhere that we don't even notice it. And so we never really challenge, is this the best way to do it? Or is this just the way we've been doing it for so long we haven't questioned it? So I think it's important that women recognize that we are powerful, we are smart, we are capable, and the women that do step into the financial services space, financial industry, we statistically are better investors than our male counterparts by every metric that an investor cares about. So it's within us. We are better at discerning, we are better at judging, we tend to have higher EQ. Obviously, these are generalizations. There's always going to be like the one woman that doesn't fit it and the one man that doesn't fit it. But
Right.
generally speaking, these are perspectives that I don't think anyone's questioned in a long time. And so, enter me. I'm here to question all the things and break all the things that once were and see if we can rebuild it in a better way. But yeah, that's like the first thing I would say, because it's a mindset game to get to these bigger assets. It's not, I don't have some special formula. I don't have bajillions of dollars that I was ready to go out. I had to go out and roll my sleeves up and do the hard work. But it's like even thinking that you having the audacity to think that you could be someone that does this is an act of confidence building, trust, overcoming imposter syndrome in and of itself.
Yeah, and I know you talking about this right now, you seem so confident and clear in what you're saying, but how did you get to this point where you weren't sorry for explaining it this way? Because it
Um,
is so unique, right? Like we don't
yeah,
talk about being in these positions like that, like how you just stated.
yeah, it's totally crazy because up until March of this year, I did not, and then so this was like 9 months ago, right? I did not actually talk about patriarchal structures. You wouldn't have heard me utter the word matriarchy in a public setting. You wouldn't have really heard me advocating as hard and as boldly for women as I do now because I'm in the private equity space, right? And so, spoiler alert, there are no women, and there's definitely no women of color in this space. It's like
Right.
almost non-existent, right? And so, what I realized early on was that if I wanted my daughters to walk into these rooms and know that they belong there, it means they need to have more people that look like them in these spaces so that they think they can do this too and they know they
Hmm.
belong there. So it's like a little bit selfish in a way because I want to change the world for my daughters to walk through it easier than I did. And, my mom did the same for me, and her mom did the same for her. And, we come from a long line of very powerful, strong women. And we're all married and partnered with men that support us and that believe that women are powerful and capable. So it's having that full support system is one piece of it that helps build confidence. But when I first started, like I would have never talked about why women are better investors, even though the data was there, the numbers were there. I was so scared that I was going to lock out my next deal partner. I was so scared that the men in my industry weren't going to want to work with me. And then I realized, why am I waiting for them to pick me? I don't want to work with them either. And so now I'm like, oh, I don't want to work with any men that are threatened by powerful women, that are threatened by women challenging their ideas. And I have so many men in my life that gladly engage with me and gladly, negotiate and we share ideas and we argue and we debate and we discuss. And it's always been like that with the men in my life. And it's always been safe for me to do that. And so now I almost use it a little bit selfishly. It's like kind of like a filtering tool because only alpha men, like men that are actually confident in their masculinity and secure in their masculinity can even start having these conversations and can even start discussing these ideas or asking questions or contributing to the change that I want to see in a meaningful way. And so I'm like, oh, okay, this is actually now just a filter to get beta men out of my orbit faster. And then when I realized that, it was real easy. And so now I just talk about it all the time. But what I've found by doing it is I've not only found like the true alpha green flag men to partner with and share time and energy and effort and resources with. But also, I've found so many incredible women that I'm shocked and stunned and disappointed and infuriated that they don't
Hmm.
have more power or platform or they're not being paid or recognized for their energy, their effort, because so much of what women do is invisible.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that just from hearing you speak, is there a part of this that came from becoming a mom? And you're like, no more. I
Yeah.
need to change something about like what these daughters of mine are going to inherit moving forward.
100%. It is one thing for me to leave them a trust fund. It is another thing for me to leave a legacy. And I so it was twofold actually. One, I got it enhanced tenfold when I had my daughter. So I have twin daughters, they're 6 now. And once they were born, I made a very specific decision that we are no longer investing as angel investors. We're never going to be on a cap table or anything like that a organization that doesn't align with these values of mine. So
Mm-hmm.
when someone wants me to invest with them, the very first question I ask them, no matter what, is show me your decision-making suite. Show me your C-suite, show me your directors, show me your officers. If you don't have women and or minorities, I wish you a lot of luck. I hope you have a lot of success. I am not the person to help you get there because I want to be invested in companies. And like I bought a bank last year with a mentor of mine, and we have an MDI certification, which is the minority certification. So that feels really in alignment to me. I'm helping communities of color build wealth and make a financial footprint. And so even now, that's the first question I ask is, what does your decision makers look like? And if it's all like old white dudes, I'm like, okay, no. Uh,
Yeah.
and the second piece of why this is enhanced for me is after I started speaking on stages, I have so many people come up to me after I get off the stage and they're like, oh my gosh, I make my daughter follow your podcasts. And I don't have my own podcast, but when I go on podcasts, they have like an alert set for my name. And so anytime I do a podcast, their daughters, their sons, their wives, their spouses, like the men come up to me and say this. And then the women come up to me and go, I didn't know I was allowed to do this. I
Right.
didn't would do this. I was like, yes, and there's more room. So come join me.
Yeah, I love that you have such an open space for women, especially in that type of industry, and like just so welcoming that you're not putting yourself down or putting like playing small at all because you're like, there's room here and you're really welcoming to that. And it's just incredible to hear you speak because of these things that you're doing with your life and the accomplishments that you've made. Like you just told me that you bought a bank, which I don't think a lot of women could even comprehend how to get into something like that. So, along this journey, what were those moments of like, not to get too
Yeah.
dark, but what were those moments that shook you to your core where you got through that and you're like, no, I can still do this because I deserve to see this through. I deserve to have these accomplishments, and I'm basically that bitch.
I wish I could say that I'm like, oh yeah, okay, here are all the things, but I'll be honest with you, like I still don't feel like I'm that bitch. Like I don't. I still struggle with imposter syndrome. I still second guess a lot of the things that when someone challenges me or questions me, like I do second guess it. Sometimes there are certain things that I know, right? Like if one of my daughters was calling for me, I know whose voice it is. I
Mm-hmm.
I won't second guess that, right? But like if someone's like, "Hey, maybe you need to reconsider this strategy," it is something that I think about. And what I learned from working with my mindset coach, Rosie Noel, she's incredible, by the way. You should look her up. She's awesome. Um, she has drilled into my head over the better part of 2.5 years that I've been working with her in this capacity that all feedback is not good feedback. And
Mm,
that's something I think a lot of women struggle with because we're so used to people pleasing and,
yeah.
wanting to like make everyone comfortable and feel safe and protected. There's a difference between being nice and being kind, right? So I tell my daughters, you never have to be nice. Niceness is not something to be expected of you. You have to be kind because that's who your character is and that's how I'm raising you. But you do not have to be nice. Kind is telling somebody that, hey, you interrupted me. I'd love to hear what you have to say. Can I finish first? Or I'd like to finish first. Or I'd love to hear what you have to say after I finish this thought. That's kind. That is setting a boundary. That is telling someone that they've interrupted you and reclaiming your space.
Like self-respect too.
Exactly.
Being nice to yourself.
Yeah, it is being nice to yourself. It's being kind to yourself and it's being kind to the other person and kind to everyone else around you, right? Because they deserve to hear your ideas. And nice is when you go, oh, okay, yeah, we could hear your idea, and then I will give you the rest of my thought. That's nice. That's not kind. I don't want my girls to be nice. I want them to be kind. And so I have so many of those moments, especially in motherhood. I'm like, am I ruining these children? Like, how do I know? Did I do this right? Is this
My God.
normal? Did I break them? Like all the time. Like this is like a nonstop question. Um, so I wish I had like an answer, but maybe it's more just like solidarity for all the women that are out there. Like, I don't think it matters what your resume says. I don't think it matters how much you accomplish. because someone that is ambitious and like going after things that feel important to them or aligned to them, they're always going to find new goals to go after. So you're always going to be growing and you're always going to be stepping into a world that you're not always comfortable in. And so, that's the other piece of mindset work I've done with Rosie is getting comfortable in the discomfort. It's
Hmm.
this is a state of being, and this too shall pass. It doesn't rain forever. It's not, what goes up must come down. Like all the cliches are true. Like nothing is going to last forever. The good times aren't going to last forever, and the bad times aren't going to last forever.
Yeah. So with the mindset work that you've done,
Yeah.
what are the things that you had to unlearn that you're now realizing that you were carrying with you for many years into this industry, I'm sure.
Many things. One of the big pieces of framework that we worked on is so on my Clifton Strengths test, which is like my absolute favorite personality assessment tool of all of them. I've done all of them, and it's my favorite one. And Rosie's certified in it, so she coaches specifically on Clifton Strengths. My number one is competition. And when I was in my
Oh, okay.
20s,
Yeah.
I'm almost 40, I'll be 40 next year. When I was in my 20s, my competition showed up in such unhealthy ways. And it would show up at all costs. So I wanted to win regardless of losing friendships or hurting feelings or like I did not care. I wanted to win. And there was very little I was willing to sacrifice. And I'm still like that when it comes to board games. So if you're ever going to play a board game with me, I am prepared to lose all of my friends over a board game.
Don't get in a room with Veena and Monopoly, or what's the one that
Yeah.
sends you over the edge?
It like
All of
does not
them?
matter, all of them. Like even with my daughters, when we play like speed or concentration or memory or whatever, I destroy them every time. And
I
people are like,
love
"Are you
it.
gonna let her win?" I'm like, absolutely not, because then she
No.
won't be the best. I know. So, like, I have to win. I cannot let them win. So I will not let you win like a card game or a board game or anything like that. But you will definitely find me competing in a healthy way now, which was a reframe, right? So now I still want to win. I'm still going to win. There's very little that I'm unwilling to do to win. However, I have redefined what winning means.
Okay.
So in my 20s, I would have told you that no, there's no room at the top for other women. There's only one
Mm,
seat, because this is a story the patriarchy tells us.
right.
And I would have been like, no, this is not something that you can do. Only I could, like, and maybe wouldn't have been as on the nose. Um, in my 30s, and now as I enter into my 40s, I'm like, wait a second. There have been plenty of companies that have had like 10 board seats that are all old white men. Why can't we have 10 board seats that are women? If no one had an issue when all the board seats were white men, then there really shouldn't be an issue if it's all women either. Though I do ascribe to, I think that we need diversity to be stronger. So I do
Yes.
believe there should be men at the top. I think there should be women at the top because I think the best should be at the top. Now, if it just so happens that the best are women, then that's fine by me.
That's great. Yeah.
Great. I wouldn't be surprised if that is the outcome just based on the metrics that we've seen so far. But yeah, that was the biggest one is learning how to redefine winning and then being able to catch myself when I'm falling into like the negativity of my strengths and being able to name it and then recalibrate it to be positive and helpful has been like major shift for me.
Yeah, absolutely. Mindset is so, so important. And I think that a lot of women limit themselves from accessing or working on their mindset because they don't even know where to begin. When was the turning point for you where you're like, I have to work on my mindset here?
Okay, this is actually a really funny story.
Okay.
Okay, so let's rewind back to early days of entrepreneurship. And I had someone had sent me the Clifton Strengths test. And this was like actually it wasn't that early. It was like I was like 6 years in. So I hadn't done anything for the first 6 years of entrepreneurship. I then um had this Clifton Strengths assessment sent to me by somebody else and they were like, you should take it. You'll like it, whatever. I was like, okay, fine. So this is in 2018. I take it. I get the results. I'm like, yeah, this is totally me. Cool. I thought it was like a horoscope. I filed it away in my Google Drive and never looked at it again. Then fast forward to 2.5 years ago, it was July 2022, and I met my college roommate for dinner. I happened to be in Chicago. She lived in Chicago. This is Rosie, who is my college roommate. We've been friends for 20 years at this point, right? We lived together for 2 years in college, a little bit after college. She's an old friend of mine. And I happened to be in Chicago. I met up with her for dinner, and she drops me off at home at my cousin's house because I was staying with her. And I go, by the way, um, what do you do for work nowadays? And she's like, oh, I do talent management at Lockton, which is like a 10,000 employee company. It's a big
Oh,
company. She's like that.
wow.
She's like the VP of talent management and um, something else. She said something else. I was like, okay, so like, is an actress and actors that you're like book like talent? That's what I'm thinking, right? Like talent
Mm-hmm.
production. She's like, no, it's like HR talent. And then she said, I'm a Clifton strengths coach. Have you heard of this? And I was like, oh my gosh, I've taken mine. And so it's 2 a.m. and we're
It's
sitting
always
in
the
my
first
cousin.
thing in the morning.
Yeah, it's way later than either of us should be awake.
Yeah.
We're sitting in my cousin's driveway in the middle of July in Chicago, and I pull up my Clifton Strengths and I'm like, tell me everything about me. And she starts like telling me all these things. And I was like, wait, how do you know this? She's like, this is what I do. I was like, this is a whole job that people can have. Like, this is amazing. So then I was like, wait, can you coach like with me on the side and consult with me on the side? Because she wanted to start her own consulting company, and I was or coaching company. I was like, yeah, let's start here. And she was like, okay. So I started by having her coach me, and then I took her in front of my community because I just fell in love with it. And for the longest time, I coached with her 5 days a week.
Oh,
I,
wow. That's a
yeah,
lot.
like, oh, I took it so I still would. If she had time, she just has so many clients now. She can't start every day with me, but I still
Yeah.
try to get her 3 days a week.
Oh,
Um,
wow. That's amazing.
it changed my life. It changed
Yeah.
my life in a way that I was not someone who believed in mindset. I was like, oh yeah, okay, manifest it, it'll happen. Okay, say these like, but the more you read about neuroscience and neuroplasticity and mindset and the actual outcomes that people see from it, the more you'll realize that there's a lot of science behind it and it actually does work. It does help. I'm a better mother for it. I'm a better wife. I'm a better friend, daughter, sister, spouse, like everything. I'm a better leader. I'm a better manager for my teams. So I think that anybody who is in entrepreneurship or not, the very first thing you should spend dollars on, which is the hardest to spend dollars on, is mindset. Because there's not a clear ROI. It's not like, okay, you spend $1,000, you'll make 10,000.
Right.
It's behavioral. So you really can't put a tangible number to it. But if you stick with it long enough, like at least 6 months, but more if you can, what you'll find out is you actually are changing from within, which allows you to generate more revenue. Like I closed on my largest deal after I started coaching with her.
Oh my God, that's so amazing. And if you actually zoom out and look at it, you did make a return on your investment then if you closed your biggest deal.
Totally. Totally. And that's what I mean. Like you will make the biggest ROI you will ever make is going to be from personal development. It's just hard when you're starting out because you're probably like me, where you're like, I don't have money to hire an admin. I can't spend money on my mindset. It feels like the last thing to work on, especially for women. We always feel guilty for spending money on our own well-being.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, that's
why?
got to change. I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. And I can speak to my own experience of my past too. And I'm sure you can of like, okay, yeah, I was, I felt guilty or I didn't think I deserved it. But then when you get through those hurdles and then you make the investment, you see the ROI and you're like, hey, this is the best thing I've ever done for myself. But
Yes.
it's funny how we
Like,
limit ourselves so long.
yes. Like even my kids, I like now that I've done my own mindset work, I can now help them be better. And I can like I did a coaching session with Jackie McDonald the other day. She does tapping, right?
Okay, yes, yes.
Amazing. I'd never done it before. It was awesome. And now one of the things she taught me was like when you feel, because I get anxious, I have anxiety and get stressed out. And she's like, when you get anxious or stressed, one of the things you can do is you can just like tap on the side of your fingernails. And apparently there's like some kind of somethings in your body there. I don't know what, like a
Maybe some like nerves or something.
yeah, maybe a nerve. I'm not well versed in this. But there's like some kind of sensation that you get that from tapping this part of your body that sends signals to your brain to like bring your anxiety down and your cortisol down and start calming you. So now like when my daughters they get have big feelings and they still don't have tools that they need to regulate their feelings. So we do a lot of co-regulation. So one of the things I do now is that when I'm getting frustrated because they're frustrated and we're both just spinning because we're overwhelmed and emotional and triggered, I'm like, okay, babe, mommy recognizes that my body feels really frustrated and upset. I said, before we talk about this more, before we solve it, I'm just going to take a few deep breaths and I'm going to calm my body down and I'm going to do my tapping. So I'll do this and I'll go, and I might like say something out loud, like a mantra for them, like, this is just stress. I can do hard things. You know,
Hmm.
um, we're here to help other people, like whatever it is, right? And I'll do that with them and then they'll instinctively copy me. So they'll come and they'll go, and they might be screaming or whatever, but they start doing it. And then after a few minutes, like they come down and I come down and I'm like, okay, now we can have productive conversation because everyone's emotions are in check. So, like, even doing it, I would pay money all day long to show up as a better mom for my kids. Same thing for my husband. Like, he's a patient man. We've been married for 13 years. This man has been through all of the worst parts of me and all he's going to benefit from the best parts of me. But even him, like, I feel him more calm, more relaxed, more stable, even though he's always stable. But like, I just feel him more even keeled because he's not bracing for me to like
React.
emotional and reacting and now I can control it. And so it's just like we have a better marriage because of it. And my friendships are better because now they're more rich and more meaningful and they have more depth to them. And so I think it's just like it's great when you have someone helping you grow that you can also grow with other people too.
Well, thank you for sharing that because we just got a little takeaway nugget there. And I will thank Jackie also for sharing that with you. And then it gets passed down. And that's like the power of community right there.
Exactly. It's like that's what being in abundance means. When you learn cool things, you don't gatekeep them. Like, okay, tell me how you feel because I cannot stand it when I'm like, oh my gosh, I love the scent you're wearing, or I love your dress or whatever. Like, where is it from? And then a woman's like, oh, I don't want anyone to smell like me, or I don't want anyone to have the same outfit as me. And I'm like, oh, what a place of scarcity you're operating from. That's so sad.
Yeah, I agree. I've never been wired that way, luckily. I don't know. My mom's just been like, there's enough for everyone to go around. So that's
Yeah.
what I grew up learning. But I do help my clients with scarcity and mindset. So I understand people are wired that way. But yeah, I agree. Why not share the wealth?
Yeah, and like, that's the other thing I'll say too is I thought when people were like, "Oh, I have a mindset coach or a high performance coach or whatever," I thought when they said that it was like always just like one person like their therapist. It's not. There's like so many different tools that you can get from different types of
Mhm.
coaches. One, you have to find the coach that like just aligns with you and understands you. Hint for the women listening to this, it is not a male coach that you are going to find your answers with. It just isn't. It isn't. I don't care how smart, successful, amazing, what a green flag they are. They don't have the answers for you because they can never truly appreciate the perspective of a woman. They just can't. They don't walk through the world in the same way.
Can I ask, do you
Uh,
think that it's okay for males to have a female coach?
I think men should have a female coach.
Okay.
Um, and here's why. Because what I found to be true of all of my male partners, like in my businesses, is they want to be vulnerable. They want to
Mm.
be emotionally out there and putting themselves out there, and they want to lead with that vulnerability. But they're so used to being in male dominated spaces where they don't get the chance to practice that. And what women bring to the table, especially a mindset coach or a woman that's a coach, is the encouragement and the safety to practice a skill set in a way that can build confidence enough to then take it and go and implement it into businesses. Another great way to do that is to have women in your leadership. And that's why women in the C-suite is so important. Because when I walk into our company meetings, even though it's all other men there, I go, hey, I just want to take a minute and recognize how hard it was for you to own up to that mistake because that's not easy. But I'm so glad you did because it's showing me that I too can own up to my mistakes, right? And like there's an exchange of emotional intelligence there. And every time men experience that safety with emotional intelligence, it stops being like the boogeyman, like the thing
Yeah.
like big and scary to deal. It's like, oh, wait, this is what emotional safety is. Okay, wait, I can create this for other people because it feels better, right? When you have safety, emotional safety, it feels better to show up to work. You feel more fulfilled. Your energy is protected. Your emotions are not constantly going up and down. Your stress levels are lower. So there's so much to be gained from that. And I think that men should seek out a woman to coach them and to offer them a different perspective that they
Hmm.
are not capable of having just on their own. The men that have this perspective that could coach you through this, one, they still don't understand 100% what it's like to be a woman. They can be empathetic to it, they can have done the work, they can understand it cognitively, but experientially, they won't. And
Right.
yeah, and so that's why I think yes, men should have a woman coach. For women, the reason why we don't need a male coach is because this world is built for men. We
Yeah.
know what it's like for men to walk through the world because we are oppressed from patriarchy. So like we already understand the injustices that there are. We already understand everything there is to know about the systemic ways in which patriarchy oppresses women. Men don't have that same understanding of the women's side and the woman's perspective.
I love how you worded that, and also how you are saying that it's important for the emotional intelligence piece because then you are more present in work if you do feel safe, right?
Yes,
And then you can actually get more done and help more people. And then on the reverse of the why women shouldn't have male coaches, I can't help but think of like the bro in
yes.
like the business industry. And it's like, do I really want to embody what they're
No,
offering? I don't think I have it
no.
in me. It's like
Yeah,
I've tried that way so many times before. And it's like, look where I was at, right? So
yes. Though the dude, I call them the dude bros.
the two pros.
Yeah. They are not speaking to us. They are speaking to other men. And then there's a certain cohort of women that will follow this advice because they don't want to accept or acknowledge that there is a disparity there. This is just factual. I'm not saying this because I'm like, oh, poor me. I'm saying it because it's factual. We need to acknowledge the problem before we can address it. Now, once there's more equality, gender equality, and once men don't present such a threat or danger to women, in terms of like safety, right? Security, safety. Then I think that there is going to be room for changing that. And I do think that at that point, it would be important for women to have men that they get coached by, but that we're like decades away from this, like
Yeah.
many decades away from this. Like we haven't even solved pay inequality, which is literally a math problem. So, it's like, right now, I think of this too because there's a woman that I mentor. She's in her 20s. I started mentoring her when she was in her 20s. She's incredible. She's smart. She's dedicated. She is personable. She has all the materials she needs. And she reminds me of a more capable, more advanced me. Like it took me a lot longer to get where she is in her early 20s than it took me to get. And she keeps going to get coached by men. She also is mentored by me and by Rosie, but she'll go to these men and be like, hey, I want to get coached and mentored by you. And then she'll come back to me and be like, hey, this is what the advice I got was. And I'm like, is this is this the life you want to live? Like, is this how you think the leadership should go. She's like, no, but this is what they said. I'm like, yeah, but you keep going to men for answers that they don't have because they don't have to be a daughter and a sister and a mother and a wife and a girlfriend and a cousin and a friend and an entrepreneur all at the same time. And that looks very different than being
Yeah.
a dad in entrepreneurship is very different than a mom in entrepreneurship.
Yeah. Because of the responsibilities and because of what you have to basically take on without even being asked to take on, kind of like, I don't know how to word that because I'm not a parent. So I'm like, I'm sure that a lot of the responsibility of raising children falls
Yeah.
onto the mother.
Yeah, I think society defaults to the mom being the primary parent, right?
Right.
Like, and we hear it in like microaggressions too, right? When a kid messes up or does something, oh, where was their mother? You never
Right.
hear where was the father,
Oh, yeah.
right? Or if you look at bathrooms, the number of times that we've been to a bathroom in public where there's a diaper changing station in the women's room,
Oh,
but not the
right.
room, is infuriating. But it's because this is unpaid labor, and so women are told that they have to do the unpaid labor because it's not valuable. But if women stopped doing unpaid labor, they estimate it's about $10 trillion of value that gets no pay, no recognition that women do.
That's huge.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Global.
those little things you always forget. Like, well, I don't know if you forget about them, but for me personally, it's just things I wouldn't even think about with the change room thing. But
I
it's
li
those little things that are like in society that are
yes,
repeating the message of, yeah, it's a woman's job.
totally. I never thought about it until I had kids, and then I would send my husband to go change diapers, and he'd be like, "There's no thing in the bathroom. Can you do it?" And I would be so furious because I'm tired. I birthed two humans. I want to just eat my meal. And my spouse is a perfectly capable parent. And he can't change a diaper because you had to put this in the woman's bathroom instead of the men's bathroom.
I like that you said he's perfectly capable because I really quickly just want to touch that we're not bashing men when we're speaking about the coaching aspect of like having a male coach. That's not what this is about. So I like that you just brought that around to say he's completely capable. He's a great husband. He's gonna,
He's smart. He's smarter than I am in a lot of ways. I trusted him enough to have children with him. I trust him to help me take care of his children. He's not
yeah,
babies. They're his
yeah,
kids. You
yeah.
know, when men are like, "Oh, I'm babysitting." No, you're not. Those are your
Oh, I
children.
hate that. Yeah,
Like, do
yeah,
you get paid? Do you get to go somewhere else at the end of your shift? No, you're a parent. You're parenting your children.
yeah.
Like I texted my husband that once. I was like, just because I like to do a lot of these internet pranks on him. He does not appreciate it. I like it though, because I have fun.
I see your Instagram. Your Instagram is so funny, and you are actually like way funnier than I expected you to be after hearing you speak and then following you. I was like, this is so refreshing to see that this girl's got such good humor.
I'm losing so many followers because I'm putting like all this like stuff out there that's pro women. Like it's okay. I'm culling the herd, if you will. But yeah, I sent him a text one day and I was like, "Hey babe, I have a meeting that's gonna run late. Can you babysit the kids after school?" And he's like, "Babysit whose kids?" And he's like, "Our
Oh,
kids."
he's a good guy. Does he like doesn't even register that what you're saying? Or
Yeah.
is yeah.
He's like, "What are you asking me to like take care of my own kids?"
Aw.
It's like, "Yeah, can you babysit them?" And he's like, "If you're asking if I'm going to be home and available, yeah, I don't know what you mean by babysit them. Are there other kids coming?" And like
Yeah.
that's who we should be having babies with, ladies.
Yeah,
Like
absolutely. 100%.
parents is the most expensive and important financial decision you will ever make is who you marry.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Okay, I have one last question on mindset related to kind of your portfolios and making these huge decisions with your real estate. What mindset do you have that lets you handle the risk of this without the fear getting in the way?
Oh, does the fear not get in the way? No, it definitely still does. Um, I started. investing in multifamily, like apartment complexes, with my first thought being, what could possibly go wrong? Let me tell you, literally everything
Everything. Yeah.
can go wrong. But in that way, ignorance is a little bit of bliss in that if you knew all the problems and you knew all the headaches and you knew all the stress and you really knew it and you really understood it, you might not do it.
Right.
And so this is what I do with my girls, which I think is helpful with like the mindset of how to overcome that fear. So what I do know to be true is that the fear of failure will kill more dreams than anything else that you do. And so most people will never start. And
Hmm.
what I do with my girls every day, I do a mindset challenge with them. And every day I have three goals for them. And we say it every morning, and then they tell me what they are every day. Learn something, help someone, fail at something. I
Learn
want them
something, help someone, and fail at something.
to fail at something.
Do you
Those are,
do the fail one to kind of get them used to what it's like?
yep.
Yeah.
I want them, I want them to be so focused on their goals that failure is just a stepping stone of success on the way. Because what I do know is the only way to really fail is to quit.
Yeah.
But if you keep going, you will eventually find the right combination, right? Like Albert Einstein said, I didn't fail. I just found 10,000 ways that didn't work.
Yeah.
So
It's
yeah,
a great reminder.
let's find those 10,000 ways and then we'll find the one that does. And so I ask them to fail at something every day. And then when they tell me about their failure, I celebrate it. I make it
Oh,
so exciting for them to tell me they are so excited to tell me what they failed at. And what they do now is whenever they're doing something that's hard, they'll go, I can do hard things. I'm like, yeah, you can do hard things. And then they'll try it and then they maybe don't get it or they fail at it or whatever. And then they'll go to me and they'll go, Mommy, I said, what? And they're like, I met my goal. I failed at something. And I'm
that's
like, yeah,
so special.
great work. I'm so proud of you. What can we do to try again and succeed now? Because now they've learned something from the first time, right?
Right.
And now we need to get them to the second time and the third time. So when I ask them to fail at something every day, all I'm trying to do is tell them it's okay to fail. I want you to fail. We celebrate failure. I want you to try, which is the more important thing.
Yeah, that's a great way to reframe it. Focus
Yeah.
on, yeah, getting that failure at the end of the day and then learning on and pivoting. And yeah, the great reminder of, I just found 100,000 ways not to do it or 10,000
Yeah,
ways, whatever it was. Yeah.
exactly.
Okay, a little quick question here. If I can fill
Yes,
in the
please.
blank, I'm just
Okay.
going to rapid fire this. Fill in the
Okay.
blank. A wealthy woman is
Oh, a woman with power. The
love.
power to make choices and to leave the situations that do not serve her anymore, whether it's a relationship, whether it's a job, whether it's a city, what her family of origin, it doesn't matter. A wealthy woman is a woman that has power.
To not stay stuck where she's at.
Yep, to make decisions that serve her.
Yeah. Okay. And then what's one of the wildest things you've ever done?
Oh, what is, well, I mean, I think buying $130 million asset is probably pretty crazy to a lot of people. I'm like I'm a rule follower, so I'm kind of like boring in
Are you?
life. Yeah.
I feel like when I speak to you, I'm like, she's
No,
a risk taker, but you're a rule follower.
no. I'm
Oh,
Everyone calls me the safety captain.
okay.
Like, I have like my fire extinguishers get checked twice a year. I check our fire alarms
Smart.
twice a year. Like I
Smart.
my fire blankets, you wear a seatbelt in like I am the safety captain. So I think business risk. Oh, and the wildest thing I have ever done is having children. That was
Yeah.
crazy. I didn't know that you just spend the rest of your life worrying about two people that you care about more than anything in the whole world outside of your body, but that's where I am now.
That's what happens.
Yeah.
With
Exactly.
your 130, did you say million?
I did say million, 131 million.
$131 million investment.
Yeah.
What was going through your head?
What was going through my head? Honestly, okay, so here's what happens when you start doing these deals. Like the first time you do a really big deal, you're like, oh my gosh, we were able to pull that off and we survived it. It wasn't that bad. We can replicate this. So by the time I got to that $131 million deal, I'd done so many that it was more like just like execute, 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 execute versus in the beginning when you're not sure if you can do it, you're like contingency planning, contingency planning, contingency planning. So that kind of went away a little bit. But there, there's like new levels, new devils, right? So now I have
Right.
different issues where I have to worry about like certain reporting metrics, like are they actually at the level they need to be for the institutional funds that we bring in? Are we going to be able to execute on the thing that we told this, multi-billion dollar fund that we thought was possible? Has the market shifted? So, all of those things. But it's surreal. I didn't know. So I didn't know this till after the fact, like 6 months after that transaction, we were the largest all woman led transaction in the entire country for multifamily. And that feels important to me. I felt really
Hmm.
proud of that because it is taking a step forward for all women to be able to do this.
Absolutely. And I wanted to ask, what do you hope to give the women leaders in 2026?
Oh, the gift of being unapologetic and taking up space. I want women to take up more space. And
Absolutely.
I don't want you to be sorry for it.
Amen to that. Do
Yeah.
you have anything you wanted to add before we go today?
Okay, I'll leave all of your listeners with a challenge in the
Okay.
same vein of unapologetically taking up space.
Amazing. What do you got
Okay,
for
and
us?
I do this in my house too, where I like to think our household is like more of a matriarchy because we're like mostly women here. My dad, my husband, and my father-in-law are the three sole boys in the house. Uh,
No.
so what I've noticed is my mother-in-law, my mom, myself, my sister, all of us apologize more than men do for things that we are not actually sorry about.
Okay. So it's just like a habit.
It's a habit. So, my challenge to everybody is to recognize when you're apologizing for something that you don't need to apologize for. Call other women out on it. So now when my mother-in-law is like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I put the spoon over there." I'm like, "Okay, why are you sorry about it?" And she's like, "No, I'm just saying that I moved the spoon. I see that you need the spoon." I'm like, "Okay, did you do it to like inconvenience me?" She's like, "No, I just moved it." I was like, "Okay, so it wasn't on purpose. No one got hurt. You don't have to apologize. Why are you sorry about it?" And
Hmm.
she's like, "Oh yeah, I'm not sorry about it, but it's just so instinctive. It rolls off the tongue, right?" And so I challenge you to recognize when you're doing it, recognize when other women are doing it, and do not accept their apology.
This is
So,
going to be fun. This is
yeah.
going to be so fun, especially as someone who's in Canada. Like,
Oh,
this
yeah.
is like
Oh,
10x.
if this is a drinking game, you will be wasted in the first 10 minutes
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
they're like the nicest people ever. The number of times I've been apologized to in Canada is like 10x my American apologies for sure. But yeah, it's like taking up that space. Now, men can still apologize for things because if they're apologizing, they probably are due an apology, but women unnecessarily apologize. So we just have to bring it back down to the same level that men apologize. So, if you like hurt someone, apologize. If you
Yeah.
mess up, apologize, but don't apologize for things like, oh, I'm so sorry I wore this hoodie. Like, am I sorry about that? Probably not.
Yeah. I think that in noticing this and shifting that, you'll become somebody different too. I love this challenge. So thank you. This
Totally.
will
And
be
it's
so fun.
yeah, and hold your girlfriends accountable too. And tell them when they apologize, be like, no, we don't apologize for things we're not sorry about. Like even
Okay.
my daughters, I don't let them apologize. Like if they spill milk on the floor, like, Mommy, I'm sorry. I'm like, did you do it on purpose? They go, no. I'm like, okay. So what do we do when this happens? Is this something to apologize for? They go, oh no. Oopsie, I made a mistake. Let me help clean it up. I'm like, great, I'll help you clean it up.
Amazing. Yeah. Awesome. I freaking love that. Where can people find you, Veena?
On all the social media, it's Veena Jetti, Veena Jetti. I respond to my own DMs on Instagram, like
Yeah.
so if you want to DM me and chat with me, then message me on Instagram. Everywhere else it'll be like an admin or AI or whatever. I only respond on Instagram.
You guys, she's so approachable. She's so open, and she's definitely the girl you want in your corner. So, thank you so much, Veena, for today. Thank you for sharing your voice. And I'm excited to try this challenge myself.
You, yes, report back and tell me how it goes.
I will. Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks.